17th, 2020. It is 6 p.m. Confirmation of meetings, public notice, all the usual suspects. I heard back from a couple. Approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move.
Thank you. I'll second. Thank you. No changes to the agenda on my part. All in favor of the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Approval of the draft November 19 meeting minutes.
I'll move on that.
Thank you.
I get to move a lot.
I'll second. Second by Mark. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Public participation. Any public participation?
That'd be you.
Treasurer's report, Mark.
Okay. Dam fund CD1 has 238,471.56, matures 2/19/2021. At that time, we'll move it to the money market account, which has 470,689.16. Total dam fund 709,160.72. Lake improvement, which is also money market, 107,182.29. On 11/9/2020, the general fund balance was 79,559.12. Paid CenturyLink 225.89. Mead and Hunt 1342. Firepoint Media 480. And Kim for dam operation 1200. We had a deposit of $37,620 for an adjusted balance of $113,931.23. Bills to pay Mead. I don't know if you can hear me, but we can't hear you the meeting on the phone or on Zoom.
Eric, can you hear anything now? Hello?
Yeah, I can.
Is that better?
I just heard you and said Jeff Brown.
Okay. Trying to get it as loud as we can get it without that sound.
Feed.
Okay, you wanna try again?
Test. You hear us now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, let's try this.
Okay. Any questions on the treasurer's report? I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll second it.
Questions on the motion to approve? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Carried. Water control project, just some communications. We're quickly moving towards a deadline. I better start there, I guess. The water control project, and you have a note from the DNR, Wendy Pike, granted a variance from NR 335.06.4, Wisconsin Administrative Code, giving the RKLD, Rock-Koshkonong Lake District until January 15, 2021 to submit revised plans and specifications for the project. So we asked for this and we fully expect that will be, that date will be met. So some communications between Mead and Hunt and us, RKLD, this past week. There are several documents, bidding procedures, construction contracts and documents, a list of questions, and another document, order instructions to engineering concerns for bonds and insurance. Now, some of these, Danielle Thompson, our counsel, has reviewed and offered her opinion, and I have had Mark and Mike look these over, and I think, Mark, if you don't mind, we'll look these over again after Danielle's comments, and there's a few things that we need to have a final decision on before I scan these and send them back to Mead and Hunt. So I'll get a hold of Mike, and those two are reviewing those because of their experience and expertise in the bidding and contract process. So I felt it was a good idea to have those two gentlemen review those.
Alan?
Yes.
So one thing, because the sound, they could not hear, no one was participating in the public participation. So you may want to go back to that, or
We
call
can.
the right to do that.
We can. Let me go through the water control since it's a little lengthy, and then we'll take it back to the public participation. Also included a discussion last week with Rock County, fifth floor, Rich Greenlee and John, forgetting John's last name, Parks Director, John Trainer, about the easement. RKLD holds an easement for maintenance and repair of the powerhouse. Our discussion led us to a point where a temporary easement was probably going to be in order for a little more extensive work at that location. I asked Mr. Trainer to authorize closing of the park. Actually, the committee has to do that, Parks Committee. He was a little cool to that idea, but we'll see. There's certainly gonna be a required working area that is larger than just the small footprint right in front of the building. And some modifications to the egress to facilitate the egress for like quad axles and construction equipment. Also, we talked about fencing. I think it's probably a good idea to require the contractor to fence off the area, the working area that they're gonna be in. And of course, Mr. Greenlee's recommendation was to indemnify Rock County, and I already let Mead and Hunt know that that needs to be in the contract. Also, we talked about just today, we talked about a pad, a gravel pad, located right next to the powerhouse for construction equipment, cranes, backhoes, or whatever. Then the use of that pad for that plan to pull any debris that may or may get caught in the gates, and I'll expand on that a little bit later. I didn't get an answer on that question. The pad, the proposed pad, would sit on park property, so even gravel is considered permanent. I don't see the point there, but so they're gonna get back to me on that. You received the extension letter from Wisconsin DNR. Mark, was 2 weeks ago, we had a discussion 3 weeks ago, we had a discussion with Mead and Hunt and Uriah and you and I about the trash racks at the last meeting. It was pretty clear that all here wanted to at least explore the idea of eliminating the trash racks. We went over the need for trash racks, the trouble with trash racks, the expense, and it was decided that a plan going forward, or the plans going forward, the design plans, would proceed without trash racks. Now, other things that were discussed during that conversation were the reconfiguration of the cleaning boom to facilitate the large debris that comes down the river and keep it out of the 6 gates. Also discussed was using that pad I just discussed to park equipment at a moment's notice, at half a day's notice or whatever, to be able to if any large debris came down and were lodged in that gate, in that roughly 10-foot wide gate, that they would be able to pull that out, or at least dislodge it enough to make it go through. So at the end of that discussion, it was decided that by Wisconsin DNR that we could proceed without the trash racks, but we needed to come up with a plan to ensure that the hydraulic capacity of the dam is not threatened. So we have to have that plan in place. So, Mark, anything I missed?
No, it was just a major milestone by project gets rid of the wicket gates and now the trash racks, which were our two biggest problems. And basically, Uriah told us that so long as we have a vehicle to get rid of large debris that could get caught, which is the pad and being able to bring in a long reach excavator or a crane, whatever it might be. So that will be incorporated into the scope where they reinforce the pad for the construction use and then surface it or whatever the end plan is. Whatever they're going to leave us with, it'll be a finished product that we could bring a large piece of equipment and remove a tree or a stump or whatever might get hung up in front. But historically, that hasn't been a huge problem from talking to people been around, and Mike was mentioning it earlier too, so. From a budget standpoint, it helps us out quite a bit. I think there was 140,000 in there for new trash racks. The cleaning system for those racks was a DNR directive left over from 2014, transferred to 2020. It had to be part of our project to satisfy the grant award, so getting rid of the trash racks gets rid of the cleaning system. So, and we didn't have money allocated for the cleaning system in our general budget for the project, so we saved some money and avoided spending extra money. So it's for the cost of what that pad will be to surface, it's a big deal, and then the maintenance cost forward is excellent, so.
Okay. Questions from the board? Since we're having some audio difficulties, I'll open the floor for public participation. Is there any public participation?
Let me unmute everyone.
Okay.
Okay, everybody should be unmuted at this point.
Any public participation?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, name please?
Ray Lundgren.
Go ahead, Ray.
Okay. I've been getting a lot of questions about how the value of the tax was calculated for the Lake District on our tax bills.
That's Ray Lunder.
Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, are you guys there now?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. I've been getting a lot of questions on how the tax was calculated on the tax bill. And from the annual meeting, what we voted on was a value multiplied by our assessed value, which was actually documented on the budget. And when you multiply those two together, it doesn't come even close to what was calculated. And so a lot of people are having questions about how that number was calculated. Can anyone help with that?
We can touch on it. It's not on the agenda, but we can have the treasurer touch on that.
Yeah, so when we go to a levy, basically we report a tax amount to the Wisconsin Department of Revenue, and that amount gets spread to the parcels automatically. Same with every other tax you'll see on your bill. So the amount is total assessments in the district times 00049 approved at the meeting.
So if that's the case, then I should be able to multiply 0.00049 times my property, our total assessed value, and it doesn't come out and equal. And that's what there's the confusion mounts.
I think your tax bill would have a multiplier on it, wouldn't it?
No. I mean, it's hard to talk to people and ask and tell them how that got calculated based on what was documented and what we voted on in the annual meeting. So it's, unless we can get a formula put together, it's gonna be hard to just tell anybody how that was calculated.
Steve Proud asked the same question, and we replied that the amount gets reported to the Department of Revenue. From there, if there's a problem, you could contact them.
So I tried contacting the Department of Revenue, and they told me to contact the county. And then the county didn't know how that was calculated either. They told me to contact the Lake District. And then at one point, I called the township, and the township says they don't calculate it. And they said, in order to find out the value or how to calculate that value, it went back to the Lake District again. So Wisconsin Department of Revenue and the county and the township are all referring back to the Lake District to determine how that value was calculated.
Right? This is Bill Burlingame.
Yeah.
I called the treasurer in Jefferson County when Steve Proud put that out and said
Okay.
about assessed value. And so the first question I asked, I says, did they use assessed value? And on everybody's tax bill, I can say this for Jefferson County, and I'm assuming for every other county, on the upper right corner, I believe on it, it tells you that it's assessed, everything's been calculated off assessed value of your property. And when I talked to the treasurer, and just to cut this short on it, I said, can people call the Treasury Department in Jefferson County and talk to you and have them explain? And he said yes. Because when the levy gets set, for example, in Jefferson County, each township has got a different assessment number that the state formulates. So when you look at it and try to figure out what you're trying to do with the 0.0049, it won't work. So my recommendation to people is call the the county treasurer's office, talk to the treasurer, and let him explain how they calculate it. Because the state comes back to the county, and then the county does the calculation. The townships do not. Basically, all the townships do is collect the money.
Okay, is there any other
All right.
comment?
Well, I did a little research, or am I still on?
This is not on the agenda, and I'm not gonna get into the discussion and a go around a table. I think some answers were given to your questions, and we will move on to other public participation.
Guys, that's not fair, because I'll tell you what, this is Steve Proud, and I called the county, and I've emailed the county and went to multiple emails with Mr. Jensen. He went through the calculation, and the calculation that he gave me does not equate to what appears on my tax bill.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Any other public participation?
And go back to what he said. What was told to us at the annual meeting, you take the assessed rate times 0.00049. That obviously is not true.
Okay, we will look into that further.
And then the other is, you say in your previous minutes, sorry, had audio difficulties at the beginning, that there's a detailed explanation on the website. If somebody can point us to where that detailed explanation appears on the website.
I don't know where you got that information. There was an explanation of the change in taxing from the fee-based tax to a levy-based tax, and that was all that was included on the website. We will look into this. Any other public participation? All right.
It's funny, your notes say Sweeney stated Town of Fulton has received questions regarding the change to mill rate procedure. A detailed description has been posted to the website. These are your meeting minutes you approved, or I assume you approved them earlier.
Okay. We'll move on. Landings and lake access. The town of Albion has offered, the Legion of Christ offered a purchase on the parcel reviewed as a parking lot, and more negotiations are going forward, but it looks like that will go forward. We just got over public participation. Comments from the commissioners?
I think not having to put the trash racks in is a real plus for us. Monetary plus.
Do we have anybody that can do any research on this assessment to
Yeah,
give
what-
us a better answer?
I'll just, so going to the levy, we have to report to the Wisconsin Department of Revenue. Special charge is just what it is. It's a one cost fits all. The levy, so when you report to the Lake District, it tells you how much property value there is, assessed value in the district. Took that amount times the .00049 and reported a dollar amount, one lump sum. From there, the Department of Revenue spreads it. And we looked at that tax bill. Bill had a tax bill from Jefferson County.
Yeah.
If you divide the Lake District assessment by the assessed value, you get the .00049. It's not the fair market value. It's, if it's different somehow, I don't know how. I don't know how you can change math from this times this and then divide it back into it. We need specific examples, but it's not really, we've reported properly to the Department of Revenue. The townships get all the information from that report. They add it to their tax, and that goes to the county. Because they collect it for us. All of our revenue comes from the townships. So they don't know how it's calculated, don't care, because it's a line item. So it's the Wisconsin Department of Revenue that needs to answer specific questions.
Right, Mark, when I talked to Jensen, I think his name is Jensen up there, he basically said it comes down from the Department of Revenue, down to them, they calculate it, as you explained, you'd say we need X amount of dollars, and here's the .0049, the formula that you use, the county or the state, I'm assuming the state does the calculation, gives it to the county says this township has got this much Lake District per value, this one's got this one's got this. And they break it up. And if you had that, I don't want to be quoted on these, but I think it was what, $662 million in change in Lake District property value?
Right. 667.
767, something, whatever. But that doesn't mean every township, has got an equal amount of that. So every township is gonna have of that, I think Koshkonong was what?
It's a roll-up of the assessed value, so
Right.
if your parcels, doesn't matter what percentage it is, you're gonna get the allocation that we,
So the allocation, at the end, the allocation was what was approved at the annual. The total dollar budget allocation,
Yeah, now I can see the whole thing.
the property tax was that number, correct?
yeah, the mill rate.
The mill rate, yeah,
Is what we used.
right.
At the meeting, we approved the rate, but we were using a number that was based on pre-assessments that came through the town of Koshkonong mostly. So whoever didn't get reassessed got, the old value, call it, and then the new assessments got an increase based on their increased in assessment, and the same thing would happen depending on when your township does it. You're gonna get the increase because we're using a mill rate, so whatever your assessed value is times that multiplier.
Okay.
The math should work backwards, but to go through and do a double check on everybody's parcel, part of the confusion is they used to go through and exempt parcel by parcel. Ray explained to me how they took him a day to go through or 2 days to go through all the different tax parcels. This is totally different. You report one number and it spreads it.
The DOA spreads that
Yeah.
tax responsibility out over the.
Yeah, we don't do any math per parcel. So it's just based on the entire assessed values of the district, so one lump sum.
Do you want to unmute that, everybody?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Now, you just said, Mr. Meyer, you just said the assessed value of the district was 667 million, if I understood you correctly. Is that correct?
It's about that, yeah.
Okay. At the annual meeting, you presented 660 million with a multiplier of 0.00049. Your meeting minutes state that you understated that by $16,135. If I take 16,135, that means that the assessed value of the district went up by 32,928,000. You have to explain that, please.
I think, what's his face again? Lender.
Took the total assessed value, times it times the approved rate. That's my number, that's what I reported.
Then what was your number? 332,000, correct? Yet your meeting minutes state you're going to generate an extra 16,000 in revenue. To generate an extra 16,000, do the math. You have to increase the assessed value of the district by over $32 million. It's a very easy calculation.
Okay.
X times 0.00049 equals 16,135.
Okay,
Take 16,135, divide it by 0.00049. You're going to show that the assessed value of the district went up 32,928,000. That's not what you just said.
okay, we will check these numbers and in the treasurer's report in January, we will touch on this. Any other comments by commissioners? Next agenda item, adjournment. Make a motion. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried.